The invasion of Babylon. As these passages describing the fall of historical Babylon and eschatological Babylon show, the campaign of conquest will not be much of a campaign at all. In practical terms, this assault will amount to little more than a rapid blitzkrieg-style occupation of an essentially defenseless country. Based both upon the scriptures which predict it and the scant time remaining before all of Antichrist's forces are collected at Armageddon, we can safely say that the small forces still remaining in Babylon are likely to put up only scattered and token resistance in the face of what will be a rapid and largely unexpected onslaught by an overwhelming assemblage of opponents assaulting her from the north, Jeremiah 50:41 and following, the east, Ezekiel 27:26, the desert, Isaiah 21:1 through 10, and the sea, Ezekiel 27:34, in short, from each and every side, Jeremiah 51:1 and 2. Therefore, behold, I am going to bring foreigners against you, the most ruthless of the nations, and they will unsheath their swords against the allure of your wisdom, and they will defile your glory. Ezekiel 28:7. You, that is, the ruler of Tyre, the beast's rebellious regent, will die the violent death of the uncircumcised at the hands of foreigners, that is, the multinational invasion force sent by Antichrist to finish off Babylon. For I have spoken, says the Lord God. Ezekiel 28:10. The sound of a multitude on the mountains like a great army. The sound of an uproar of the kingdoms, the nations are being gathered. The Lord of hosts is mustering an army for war. They are coming from a distant land, from the ends of the earth. The Lord and the instruments of his rage, to despoil the entire land of Babylon. Isaiah 13:4 and 5. We cannot underestimate the fury which Babylon's behavior during the tribulation has aroused worldwide, both externally among the other nations of the world, all of whom to one degree or another have to this point been her imperial possessions, and also internally among a large and most likely majority population of immigrants, slaves, and those reduced to penury and indentured servitude. Likewise, we cannot underestimate the attractiveness of plundering Babylon at this time, given the extreme contrast between her excessive wealth and the incredible poverty and dearth otherwise throughout the world during the dark days of the Great Tribulation. Thus, the motive for the latter internal unrest as well for the invading armies will be twofold: jealousy and revenge on the one hand. There is no alleviation for your disaster. The blow which has befallen you is grievous. All who hear of this report about you will clap their hands against you. For against whom has your wickedness not come continually? Nahum 3:19. Woe to the one, that is Antichrist's Babylon, who multiplies what is not his, that is through theft. How long will he enrich himself through usury? Habakkuk 2:6. Now as for the 10 horns which you saw in the beast, these will come to hate the harlot Babylon, and will render her desolate and naked, and they will eat her flesh, and will burn her up with fire. For God put it into their hearts to carry out his purpose, and to be of one accord, and to give their kingdoms to the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. Revelation 17:16 and 17. And greed and plunder on the other hand. For the Babylonians will become plunder, and all her pillagers will have their fill, says the Lord. Jeremiah 50:10. For thus says the Lord of hosts, in later times he, the Father, shall send me in glory against the nations who have plundered you, for whoever touches you touches the apple of my eye. At that time, behold, I shall wave my hand against them, and they will be plundered by their slaves. In this way you will know that the Lord of hosts has sent me. Zechariah 2:8 and 9. A dire vision of Babylon's fate has been shown to me. The traitor betrays and the despoiler despoils. Isaiah 21:2. Plunder the silver, plunder the gold. The supply is endless, the wealth from all its treasures. She is pillaged, plundered, stripped. Hearts melt, knees give way, bodies tremble, every face grows pale. Nahum 2:9 and 10. A sword against her horses and chariots and all the foreigners in her ranks. They will become women. A sword against her treasures. They will be plundered. Jeremiah 50:37. Out in the sea she will become a place to spread fish nets, for I have spoken. declares the Sovereign Lord. She will become plunder for the nations, and her settlements on the mainland will be ravaged by the sword. Then they will know that I am the Lord. Ezekiel 26:5 and 6. They will plunder your wealth and loot your merchandise. They will break down your walls and demolish your fine houses and throw your stones, timber, and rubble into the sea. Ezekiel 26:12. Will not those who pay you exorbitant interest rise up suddenly, and those whom you shake down for payment awaken? For you will become plunder for them. Since you have looted many nations, all the remaining peoples of the earth will pillage you on account of your shedding of blood and your violence against the earth, against its cities and those who dwell in them. Woe to the one who heaps up unjust gain for the benefit of his own empire, literally house, in order to set his nesting place on high so that he might be rescued from the grasp of disaster. But you have devised only shame for your empire, literally house, by your cutting down of many peoples, and have acted in sinful folly against your own life. For even the stones in your walls of your empire or house will cry out, and the beams from its wooden framework will reply in condemnation of your behavior. Woe to the one who builds his city-state, that is empire, on bloodshed. Habakkuk 2:7-12. The destruction of Babylon. As a political state, historical Babylon was destroyed by the Persian invasion from the north, circa 529 BC. But Babylon the province was never entirely depopulated, and Babylon the city, though in decline ever after, continued as provincial capital of the Persian Empire and later, as Alexander's eastern capital. In the time of Christ, the city was a shadow of its former self, and in recent times it has indeed become completely depopulated, though it was revived as a tourist attraction under Saddam. These historical facts invite us to pose the question of whether or not the devastating destruction leveled upon eschatological Babylon by Antichrist and his forces will indeed be total in our modern, Western sense of the word. For without a doubt there are many passages which certainly suggest something like total destruction by any definition. Isaiah 13:5 and Ezekiel 26:17-21. Babylon will be burned with fire, left naked and desolate with her flesh eaten. Now as for the 10 horns which you saw in the beast, these will come to hate the harlot Babylon, and will render her desolate and naked, and they will eat her flesh, and will burn her up with fire. Revelation 17:16 and 17. And they cast dust upon their heads in grief, and they cried out, wailing and grieving, saying, Woe, woe for the great city, by consorting with whom all who have ships on the sea became wealthy from her exceptionally expensive tastes. Woe to her, for in a single hour she has been bereft of it all. Revelation 18:19. And a powerful angel lifted up something resembling a huge stone, and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus in the blink of an eye shall Babylon the great city be thrown down, and never again will there be heard in her the sound of harpists or musicians or flute players or trumpets, and never again will there be found in you any of your skilled technicians, and never again will there be seen in you the light of your lamps. And never again will there be heard in you the joyous sound of bridegroom and bride. Revelation 18:21-23.